iMagician Live. 1, 2, 3. Ah, forget it.
Welcome to iMagician Live Show 3. Thank you so much for all the comments, the outpouring of love. It really means a lot to us. You know, we've been having such a great time putting this thing together, and we have put together a fantastic show for you this week. We are very excited about it, and joining me as ever are my friends, my co-presenters. We have Mr. Tommy Bond. Hi, Tommy.
Hi, Jamie.
Hey, Tommy. And also we have Adam Heppenstall. Hello, Adam.
Hey, evening, guys.
Hey, and of course we have Nat. And what do we have coming up on the show? Let's find out. Tommy, what do we have coming up?
Well, later on we have the ever-popular bad trick of the week, and also something very intriguing with a rusty bicycle.
It does sound intriguing. And Adam, what do we have coming up on the show?
Well, we've got this week's instalment of Magic News of the Week, as well as some magic from Jamie himself.
Magic from me, myself? How exciting. Nat, what do we have coming up?
We have the Young Magician of the Week coming up.
It's going to be a great show. And also, as our special guest, we've got a double star lineup this week. We're very, very excited to bring you the man behind the magic of Britain's Got Talent, mega star illusionist, Mr. Russ Stephens will be with us. And also, we have all the way from the Netherlands, 2 times Merlin Award winner, Mr. Christian Fowler.
Want to have a peek at Bad Trick of the Week, Bad Trick of the Week, Bad Trick of the Week? If it's bad magic that you seek, watch Bad Trick of the Week.
Right, now we go across to Adam and the bad trick of the week.
Well, thank you, Tommy. I'm quite excited about the bad trick of the week this week because I looked under the bed and to my amazement, I thought I lost this, but I found an old trick which is known as the secret orb of Zeus. Now you see I have this little box just here, but watch carefully as I perform the secret orb of Zeus. Thank you very much.
And thank you, Adam, for bad trick of the week. That was a good one, that one.
So when I was a kid, my mom took me to Blackpool. I was about 12 years old. I loved magic and I was doing little shows, but nothing really great. I didn't have any purpose or direction. And my mom took me to see a show called Mystique, and that show changed my life. In fact, it shaped the direction of British and European magic for decades, and it still does. And the star of that show was my next guest, and we're incredibly proud to have him on today because we have a double star lineup this week. This man was a mega star illusionist, a director, producer, organiser or joint organiser of the largest magic convention in the world, and the man behind the magic of Britain's Got Talent, which starts tomorrow night. Please welcome to our show the godfather of magic, Mr. Russ Stephens. Here he is. Hi, Russ.
Hi, guys. Hi, this is my dog Marley. He's just, where am I? Yeah, he's just stood up and stretched, so apologies.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, lovely. Good timing, Marley.
Yeah.
How are you?
Yeah, we're good, thanks. We're all keeping as busy as we can. You know, we've got so much to get through in so little time, so I'm going to jump right into it. The Mystique show definitely changed the face of British magic. You know, there's no doubt about that. And I just wanted to know what your take was on it, because you were the star of that show for, what, 7, 8 years? You mustn't have even realised at the time the gravity and the importance of that show in the timeline of British magic.
Not really. I'd spent 10 years previously. I kind of turned professional 10 years before that. So I'd built up to that point, but I'd never done illusions. So when Mystique happened, which didn't land in my lap, I had to really sort of hustle for it and get it. And I had no background in that kind of magic, really. I just did like a mini act with a small couple of cabaret illusions, like a broomstick suspension with a mic stand and stuff like that. And so it was a dream come true, because the people that were putting it on didn't really know much about magic. So luckily they'd ordered an impaler from David Mendoza in the States, and that was pretty much it. And I kind of had a free rein to have all the ideas I had had in my head for years, and they were going to pay for it basically and put it all on. So yeah,
That's amazing.
It was a great opportunity.
How did you actually land the job? You said you had to hustle for it.
Yeah, I kind of heard along the grapevine that a few years, the first Mystique was 1988, and then I think it was 86, Paul Daniels had done a show at the Opera House, his own show, and he was huge then, a summer season, and I'd heard rumours that they were going to do a magic show at the Horseshoe, and they pulled the idea. So I was kind of aware, because of Paul being there that year, so I was aware of the show, and then I got wind that they were going to do it again at the end of 87. There were rumours going around, and bizarrely, at the New Year's Eve in 1987, I did a one-off gig at a club called Xenon's, which was in the West End of London, which was a disco, and they had a thing at the time of booking special acts, like 10-minute special acts, but they booked a lot of magicians like Duncan Trillo, Paul Keeve, the Zodiac Brothers, Leo Ward. There were quite a few of us, myself. Anyway, they had the idea that they wanted to produce a leopard live on stage on this New Year's Eve, and I'm the kind of person, I still am really, mentally this same kind of person. If someone rings me up, if I'm interested, I'll just throw everything into it and go, yeah, I can do that. And that's exactly what I did. I was like, yeah, I can do that. And I ended up getting a cage bill, and it was just a standard cage production, but I had no knowledge of any of that kind of thing. And we did it. And the fortunate thing was that I got it videoed, and because it was in the West End of London, it was a lot of Americans, a lot of foreigners in the audience. So it kind of sounded, it didn't sound like an English audience. So I'd sent that off to the people that were putting on the Mystique show and said I wanted to throw my hat in the ring. And they subsequently told me they thought that was some really big show in America that I'd done. So they kind of like had this grandiose idea of me that I was this illusion guy. And I kind of wasn't really. I sort of bluffed my way in, to be honest.
Yeah, and still hasn't really been replicated since. But that brings us on to Blackpool Magic Convention, because you have a big part in that, along with, obviously Russ Brown and Guy Barrett, and of course your amazing team and everybody at Blackpool Magicians Club that works so hard for it.
Yeah.
But in the last few years, everybody can see that it's changed. It's changed dramatically. It's recaptured its former glory. It was always probably the largest magic convention in the world, but it's now once again the best in the world. And I just wanted to know a little about what it takes, how you've turned that thing around into the incredible spectacle that it is now.
Yeah, when Russ, myself and Guy kind of took over, obviously it had been run, I mean, I'm quite old, so I'm like in my late 50s, but compared to some of the other people that were running it at the time, I was quite young, and I've always had like quite a young outlook on magic and showbiz and performing and music, and I'm very into everything current. And so we just knew that it needed to update. There were massive changes. The big changes for us were shortening the gala shows, no interval in the gala shows, putting 2 houses on so that everyone had a really good seat. That was Guy Barrett's idea, and we knew that the average numbers that we were getting when we took over were just over 3,000, which would fill one show at the Opera House. But we were super confident that once we implemented the ideas we had, that we wouldn't have enough seats in the theatre to do just one show. So we realised we're going to have to do 2 gala shows, and which is straight away we did that. Now we were just under 5,000 registrants this year, 4,987 or something crazy. Like, it was so close to the 5,000. But it's changed massively.
But the other big thing that you've moved into is the world of TV, and you're now a face behind or a mind behind a lot of the magic that we see, particularly on Britain's Got Talent, and that's going to be airing tomorrow night. So I know there's going to be certain things that you obviously can't talk about, so I'm not going to pry, but I'm just going to let you talk a little and tell us, what can you tell us, any insights about what we might see this season?
Yeah, I think the magic is every year on BGT we're constantly trying to sort of change it and up it. And last year was crazy. Last year we had 11 magicians in the live shows in the finals, which, putting that into context, I think 2 years previously, which was when my granddaughter Izzy was in it before I was working on the show, there were probably 3 magicians in the live shows kind of thing. It was a lot less. It was a crazy amount. And so subsequently a lot of magicians I was hearing down the grapevine, and people we were meeting with were telling us, the word is that BGT is going to drop back on the magic, and the magic's finished on BGT, and like, it couldn't be further from the truth. So,
and this year it's going to be incredible, because I can only imagine that the ratings are going to be some of the highest they've ever had, with so many people.
It should be the most crazy ratings. I was speaking to the magician who's on Saturday, tomorrow, and I was just saying to him, the ratings are going to be absolutely crazy.
Oh, it's great, and I know it's a huge undertaking, and I'm sure that you've got more work to do on it as the season progresses.
Yeah,
but what an exciting time. We'll all obviously be tuned in tomorrow, and I can't wait to hear. I can't wait to see what we've got in store for us. I've heard a couple of things on the grapevine that may or may not be on the show, and I'm excited to see what transpires. And I know that it's going to be great viewing. And Russ, thanks so much. I just want to say on a personal note, that when I was a kid, it was a huge deal to me that when I used to come to see Mystique, that I would not only come and see it, but you would actually spend time to sit down with people like myself. And it was a really great thing that you did, and it's something that's always stuck with me, and something I've tried to give my time to the youth coming up, because you have no idea the influence that it had and what it meant those times. And I could certainly say that I would not be doing what I'm doing now if I had not seen that show when I was a kid. And so thanks from me, and thanks on behalf of all of the people that you've influenced across their respective careers. And long may it continue. And I just want to thank you for that.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Oh, no, and thanks for coming on the show, Russ. I really, really appreciate it. Right now, take a look at this.
With hairdressers around the world currently closed, what will magicians do with their hair? Our reporter, Adam Heppenstall, found out more. You'll be hard-pushed to find any barbers open today due to government lockdown, as a haircut isn't considered to be an essential. Or is it? In the world of magic, there have been some weird and wonderful hairstyles over the years, of which most of us have been guilty sometime or another. For a magician, like in the story of Samson, our barnet gives us our strength, as well as unique style, our personal look, and most importantly, our magical powers. So it's important to get through these tough times and take matters into our own hands by being creative with our longer locks until we get that all-important and much-needed styling. But there are a group of people who are the most vulnerable at the moment, and they are, of course, the secret toupee wearers.
The ones who are going to emerge after months of being in lockdown, only to come out looking exactly the same as they did when they went in.
But as a magic community, we can all pull together and help out. This is how. 1. Get a wig and dye it a typical classic magician colour. We suggest jet black. 2. Style it. Go for a simple style. It doesn't matter if it's messy, you haven't been to the hairdressers, remember? 3. Wear it now. About the house and for social media, so everyone gets used to it and notices the difference in length. That way, when you finally can get a haircut, you can go back to the same old piece you've been fooling everyone with for the past however many years.
So if you're a magician worried and stuck at home, we hope this information has been a help to you, so you can carry on being the stylish pro you've always been. Back to me in the studio.
Thank you very much, me. Once again, great advice as usual. Join us next week for more magic news of the week.
Thank you so much, Adam. That was really fascinating and I think genuinely good advice. Didn't you think, Nat?
So interesting.
Yeah, Adam, thank you so much for putting that together for us.
Well, it was fine. It's great advice. I think we magicians all need to know what to do in this situation. I'm glad we took it all on board.
Yeah, I agree entirely. Tommy, what do we have coming up next on the show?
Right now we've got a first for Facebook Live, and that's the Deadly Bullet Catch.
We like to bring you exclusives on iMagician Live, and we have got something very, very special for you. We're about to be joined by Mr. Tom Wright. Now, 12 magicians have died performing the Deadly Bullet Catch, and we're about to do it live on Facebook with Mr. Tom Wright. Hello, Tom.
Hey, Jamie, how you doing, buddy? I'm here, and I'm ready to rock and roll. First things, we've got some safety goggles, safety first. Got a chamber where the bullet's going to fly out, and I'm going to catch the bullet. And I've got this thing, which I don't know what that is. But...
Tom, forgive me for stating the obvious. You've done this before, right?
Mate, tons of times. Hundreds of times, actually.
Tom, sorry to butt in, but
Yeah.
what's that off to the side there?
What, these?
Yeah.
Oh,
yes.
Well...
Tom, are those the instructions I can see? Tell me you're not reading the instructions.
Yes, but I'm just refreshing my memory, so don't worry about it. It's good. It's fine. Hey, come on.
Tom, you did say to us that you've actually done this trick hundreds of times.
No, I have, Tommy. But I will just come clean with you. It did just arrive today. But don't worry, I'm a true professional. What's the worst that could happen, right?
Listen, Tom, we cannot have you hurting yourself on Facebook, not on our show. We can't have that happen.
No, don't. Look. Just give me a few minutes. I'll build this, and then we'll be ready to go. All right? Come on.
Okay, I'm going to stop, Tom. I'm going to stop you there for a second. Listen, we're going to come back to Tom in a couple of minutes. We're going to need Tommy. Can you line up the clip from Chicago? We'll do that, and we'll come back to Tom.
Yeah, sounds good.
Well, our next guest combines cutting-edge technology with magic. So please welcome iMagician Jamie Allan from the UK.
All right. Jamie, what are you going to do for us here?
Well,
should I just let you take it away?
No, yeah, I do magic with tech, as we said. And the funny thing is, you know, in London, where I'm from, almost 80% of people now read the news online, which is incredible, isn't it? That's happened incredibly quickly, you know, on devices like iPads and Kindles and the such like. So if I'm going to show you what is essentially a fairly old trick, we have to use a little bit of imagination.
Okay.
Now this is really far more of an illusion than it is any kind of a magic trick, because people always say to me, Ryan, you know, are you a magician or an illusionist? Because they're never too sure of the difference. They hear the words. And I think I'm more of a magician, because a magician is more sleight of hand. You know, that's my love. Or coins and cards, that kind of thing. An illusionist is a lot more money. This is really the only difference. But I'm going to show you an illusion today. And normally when you think of an illusion, would you not think of some kind of big box, you know, that somebody climbs into or something like that?
Right.
But an illusion is just something that looks like it's happening. Yeah?
Right.
It's not.
Okay.
Which I'm going to demonstrate to you with these a couple of sheets of newspaper here, and nothing else. Now, I call this illusion, I call it the illusion of the torn newspaper, and I gave it such an imaginative title.
Right, very creative.
Because it's an illusion. I never actually tear the newspaper, but I practice, you see.
Okay.
So it looks like I do.
All right.
You're
watching
I shall
closely,
demonstrate.
I'm watching so
I shall
closely.
demonstrate. Wait. Looks ripped.
Okay, it's torn.
It looks ripped. Now, there will be some skeptics, you know, out there at home thinking, well, no, he did just tear the newspaper. But I didn't. No, I didn't.
I'm standing right here. You tore the newspaper.
He tore the newspaper.
I didn't.
Okay.
It's an illusion.
Okay.
I should do it again. You see?
Okay.
See, nothing? Nothing? Watch.
It sounds like it ripped.
Well, that's the point.
It
You see, Ryan, look, the visual, you know, it's so compelling. It's so kind of convincing. It tricks your other senses. It sounds like you can hear it. Listen, it sounds. You can hear the...
Okay.
And some of the people at home, you may even feel like you can see, you know, the individual pieces of the newspaper.
I just got my eyes checked. They were 20/20 and definitely ripped.
No, but you can't. It's just an illusion, because this entire time, this whole process, the newspaper is still completely undamaged, whole, just as when we started. Thank you very much. And thank you for having me. You see, because there is the news. And that's how it works.
That was cool. Jamie, oh my God, that was amazing, man. That was amazing.
I've just heard from Tom. We are going to check back in with the Bullet Catch live. Tom, are you there?
I'm here. How you doing, guys? Oh, hey, look at this. This is the cannon that I've built, ready to rock and roll. Huh?
You know, Tom, you had us really worried earlier.
Hey, don't you worry, Tommy. I'm a true professional. What's the worst that could... Oh, crap. I'm sorry. I'll do it again. Just give me 2 minutes. Just give me 2 minutes, all right?
Okay, Tom. Tommy, I'm growing increasingly uneasy about this. Has Tom sent in any kind of risk assessment for this thing?
No, unfortunately, he hasn't replied to anything. I haven't got any documentation or anything.
Okay, all right.
Is that a concern, do you think? He's done it before.
Okay, all right. We'll come back to Tom. Let's go with... I tell you what, let's run into one of our favourite sections. This is the Young Magician of the Week.
Hello! Time for Young Magician of the Week! So, this week we have Jake Allan.
Wasn't he on last week?
No, coincidentally, it's a very, very similar name. We had Jacob Allan, who goes by Magic Jakey last week. But this week, we have Jake Allan, who won Close-Up Magician of the Year, well, Young Magician of the Year, and also Stage Magician. Young Stage Magician of the Year.
Should we come in again?
He won the Young Magician version of the stage show and the Close-Up Magic at the Magic Circle, which is amazing. And I actually watched his stage show and he was absolutely fantastic. So I'm really excited that he is here with us today. So hopefully Tommy has him up there and we can say hello to Jake. Hey! Okay, so we're going to go straight into our fire questions. Question number 1, how long have you been doing magic for?
Yeah, so I started magic when I was about 8 years old, so I've been doing magic for about 6 years now.
Awesome. What was your first trick?
I think one of the first tricks I ever learned would have been a very basic ambitious card routine.
Mine is still quite basic. Who inspires you?
Well, I get lots of ideas from loads of different places, but 3 magicians who inspire me would be Henry Harriet, Ben Hart and Andy Gladwin.
Ah, we love Ben Hart, don't we?
We love Ben.
Well, we love everybody. What is the best trick you've ever seen?
I think one of the best tricks I've ever seen would be one of Ben Hart's tricks. I saw it at his show. He does a trick with a chosen word and a walnut.
Ah, yes, that old walnut.
Yes.
I actually love that trick. I've seen it live and it is really, really good. So, good choice. And finally, what is your ambition?
I think in the future I'd like to become a professional magician and maybe even have a small show, maybe tour the country. I think that'd be really awesome.
Oh, you want to talk to the old Jamie over there about that then? So, everyone at home, we are going to see Jake in action right now.
I've seen this clip, it's awesome.
It is. Tommy, are you ready?
Hello everybody, my name is Jake Allan and I want to show you something using one of these, a Rubik's Cube. Now, there are 43 quintillion ways to mix up a Rubik's Cube, which means you could take a Rubik's Cube and mix it up for your entire lifetime and you'd never get back to the combination you started with. Unless, of course, the combination you started with was a completely solved Rubik's Cube. Now, I'll take the cube, this is how I give it even more of a mix. It takes about 20 turns of a Rubik's Cube to thoroughly mix it up. And I think we're at about 20. This time, with one hand and a toss, like this. This time I've completely solved Rubik's Cube. In fact, I'll show you this one last time. We take the cube, mix it up, we place it inside the paper bag. With a snap, you reach in and show a completely solved Rubik's Cube. But if we can take this a step further and make all the colours from the Rubik's Cube completely vanish.
Awesome! I loved that. I love Rubik's Cube magic. So cool.
Thank you.
Jake, thank you so much for being on the show today. And to say thank you, we have got a trick that's on its way to your house from Ace Magic Studios by Gary Sumter. So thank you so much.
That's really kind.
Keep magicking.
Hi. In 1988, I performed in London's Covent Garden, juggling and doing my unicycle act. All these years later, I'm still doing it. And 5 years after that, at 20 years old, I was on the Barrymore show.
But what we have here is a unicycle. Now, we're going to get one of these guys to ride this. No, it's all right, I'm joking. Here we go, we're coming up. No, wait! No, this... No, it's all right, no, seriously. Don't let go. Yeah, we got it. So stop moving, baby. It's my act. All right. Now listen. We're going to fall out. Just don't move like that. Lawrence, this bit's dangerous, all right? So listen carefully. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Onto my shoulders. Well, folks, my name's Pete Matthews. Good night. God bless. Cheers. Bye-bye.
And this is the same unicycle. Over the years, I've replaced the pedals a couple of times, chains, several new wheels, new fork. It's a bit like Trigger's broom. Anyway, obviously in the current isolation crisis, I can't find 4 people to help me get on it. So this is how I've adapted. That's how you get on a unicycle without volunteers. Take care, I'm Pete Matthews.
That bike doesn't look very rusty to me.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, against my better judgment, we are going to go back to the Bullet Catch Live. Now, Tom has dedicated, he tells us, his entire life to this stunt. So without further ado, let's go for the Bullet Catch Live with Mr. Tom Wright. Hi, Tom. Please tell us you're ready.
Yes, I am. I'm good to go. I'm ready to rumble. Let's do this. This is the cannon, all built. And this is the fuse. We're going to put the fuse inside of there, like that. Now, there's a few things that we need to do before we can light the fuse. So first of all, we've got some wadding. We're going to put the wadding inside of there because that's what the instructions said. So we're going to put that down into the cannon. All right. Second thing, we need a little bit of gunpowder inside of it. Now, just a little bit of gunpowder, all right? A little bit of gunpowder, not too much. So put that inside of there. So that's good. Now we need a bullet. So these are the bullets inside of there. The steel ball bearings that are going to be firing at my face at 130 miles an hour. This is the tape. I put a little bit of tape on that ball bearing. And we need to number this ball bearing. So, Tommy, do you have the dice?
Hi, Tom. Yeah, I certainly do have the dice. I have it here with me.
Okay, I need you to give me a number, buddy.
Okay, mate. It is the number... It's the number 4.
Number 4. In number 4. I'm going to put number 4 on there. Number 4. 4. Okay, now, if the camera comes in nice and close, you will see that there is a number 4 on that steel ball, okay? That steel ball bearing is going to go inside of the cannon like this. Boop, okay? Then we need to just make sure it's definitely in there. You just give it a bit of a plunge inside of there. That's good. And the second thing is we need a little bit more gunpowder. Now, obviously not too much, just a little bit more. A little bit more gunpowder. Huh? Can't have too much gunpowder, right? And that's it. So, okay, so I think we've got everything there. We'll put that there, put that there. I think, guys, we're ready to rumble. So I'm gonna light the fuse. Let's do this.
Oh no, the goggles, Tom, the goggles.
Let's do it. Oh, wait. Yeah, I don't worry. I did just did think of that. So the goggles are going on. Hey, I was just testing you, huh? Okay, here we go. Guys, are you ready? Are you there?
Yeah, we're ready.
Okay.
We're ready, Tom. Let's do it.
Okay, guys, I'm going to do this right here, right now. Okay, here we go. I'm going to light the fuse, guys. I'm going to do it. Come on. Okay, it's going. Okay, 3, 2, oh! Oh my God, I actually did it. Guys, come in. Oh my God, I think that's it. Yes!
He's done it.
We did it. That's number 4. That's number 4.
He's done it. He's done it. The bullet catch live. Tommy, we did it.
That's amazing.
Oh, Tom, that was amazing. Thanks so much, mate. Let's hear it out in cyberspace. Mr. Tom Wright, everybody. Mr. Tom Wright.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thanks so much for joining us, Tom. That was so much fun. Thank you. It's now time for one of our second star guests. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Mr. Christian Fowler. Over these last few weeks, I've been very privileged to have some of my really great friends on this show, and I'm very proud to call this man a friend. He is probably one of the biggest illusionists in the world, actually, and certainly the biggest in Europe. He has an incredible show that has toured all 4 corners of the globe. He has done more television shows than I can possibly say to you right now. Please welcome my friend, 2 times Merlin Award winner, the incredible Christian Fowler. Hi, Christian.
Hi, Jamie. Great to see you.
Yeah, it's great to see you. Thanks so much for coming on the show. How are you keeping over there?
Well, it's not bad. I am really happy that I have some spare time, but no, I'm kidding. I'm really hope that I can be on stage back as fast as possible because I really miss it.
Yeah, we all do, hey, and we're all putting so many shows on hold at the moment. But I think it's going to make the shows better. When we come back, I think the shows are going to be better, bigger, particularly with you. You have, of all of my friends, you have the biggest illusions that I know.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff.
You have so many mega illusions. Which is the biggest illusion that you have?
Well, now I used to do the drill of that, but I got it out a few years ago, and now I have the blades of that. It's a massive.
Oh, yeah.
It's an idea of Greg Freewin, also a good friend of me, who was.
Greg Freewin was on our show a couple of weeks ago.
I saw it. A great guy, and he came up with a great illusion. He did it on Foulas, and I got this mega contract for France. It was like a 2-year contract, and I called Greg and I said, Greg, are you still using this mega prop? And he said, no, I have it in Vegas. So he shipped it over, and I got it in the show. And I did it also in Cabaret du Monde. So it's a mega illusion. It's really cool.
Wow. Now, a lot of illusionists, when they buy an illusion, they will spend a lot of money on this thing, and they will try and make it last a long time in the show. They will try and get 3-4 minutes, from one trick. But you don't take that at all. I see that you go through an incredible amount of illusions very, very quickly. How many illusions do you think you have in your show? When it's in a resident show like Royal Palace, how many illusions were in that show?
Between 50 and 55. And I have about 15 small effects like the firebook, the candles.
Wow.
But it's 50, 55 illusions. But it's like when I start my act, it's like, the first 5 minutes is already like 10 illusions.
Yeah, it's incredible. Very, very fast paced. I saw that you now are using the split screens with the illusion that we got. I'm glad to see that was got into your show.
Yeah, my good friend, you. Thank you very much. It's a great illusion.
It looks great.
I'm really happy that you came up with that idea. And I was trying for years to find a place that I can do it in my show, and the audience really loved it. I made a little adjustment, not a big one, but just a little adjustment to have 3 girls out of it. That's because I always work with so many girls, and you don't want them to do nothing in the show because then they get bored. If they're not pregnant or have a boyfriend with the ballet, you know how that goes. So you want to keep them busy too, and. But no, it's a great illusion, and I really love that prop. What I also have with that's also your idea, is this iPhone, the big iPhone. And,
yes, the big iPhone.
And
I loved that
combination, thing. And so that's really nice. And I did it on Cabaret du Monde too, in France. I was working in Germany in Sindelfinger. It's like a big magic convention. And I just came on stage and I pulled a cloth off the phone and I said, "This is my new iPhone 15." And they all started laughing. I always have these stupid jokes, but I like them. And that's...
Well, it's funny. Yeah, when we first did it, we used to call it the iPhone 10 because at that point, the iPhone 6 Plus had come out and everybody was laughing about how big the phones were getting. It was a funny thing. Tell us about the show at Royal Palace, Christian, because that was a long time you were there. You just told us how many illusions, but that was a big contract for you.
Yeah, it was really funny because in the summer of 2015, I worked in Blackpool in the Horseshoe. That was a really small theater, and I got a phone call from an agent, and he said, "Christian, I have this producer from France, and he saw you work in Germany, and now he wants to see you." So I picked him up from the airport, and he saw the show. And after the show, he gave us the contract for Royal Palace. I had never heard of
this. Was at the Horseshoe, yeah.
Yeah, I was in the Horseshoe. It was really small there, but I really always liked Blackpool, and with the history of Russ Stephens, of course, I really wanted to. I had that on my bucket list. So
yeah, well, Russ was just talking about the Horseshoe Show Bar just before you came on the show. And what a great, in the old days, there was the Egyptian Hall as the home of magic, but to our generation, the Horseshoe Show Bar was the home of magic, when we were coming into this business, when the Mystique show was there. It was a great thing.
Yeah, about the Horseshoe, I think Russ Stephens really influenced me. I saw him performing there, and of course, I wanted to be an illusionist like him. And of course, also like David Copperfield, but
yeah. Well, me too. Russ is the godfather.
Russ is the godfather, 100%. And I'm really happy. I have so good contact with Russ, and sometimes he gives me some tips and some advice still, and it's always great.
Just before we go, Christian, tell us what is next for you. Obviously, with the world at the moment, we don't know exactly when, but what is going to be the next thing for you?
Now, if everything goes all right, I'm going to do 73 shows in Peru, in Lima. So it's going to be really cool, working with a Russian director. And then I'm going to do my own Halloween show that's going to called Lucifer. And I'm going to do a big circus show in in Rotterdam, because I am from Rotterdam. They exist 50 years, and I will be the headliner in the show.
Oh, wow. I hope so. That would be really exciting.
Yeah, and of course in between other galas and events and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Christian, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really, really appreciate it. I know we'll probably talk again later, but I know that I've been seeing him playing some of these clips of this great stuff, and I've seen it, but I'm excited that, you know, everybody at home gets to witness just the sheer scale of what you do and the pace. I think it's really now, and you've always kept very, very current. And I love the new look, and Lucifer looks amazing. So I wish you the absolute best with that, Christian. But thanks so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, and stay healthy, stay safe, and keep the magic alive.
Oh, thanks, Christian. Thanks so much, Christian. And again, if you've enjoyed the show, please tell your friends about it. We want to try and get this out to as many people as we can. We're having an absolute blast doing this, and thank you very, very much for joining us. Stick around, because in a moment we're going to announce not 1 but 2 stars of next week's show. But for now, it's goodbye from Bond.
Bye, Jamie.
Oh, God, we're still doing that. Okay, goodbye. Goodbye from Nat. And goodbye from Adam.
See ya.
I don't know what this show is descending into. Thank you very much, everybody. And here is coming up on next week's iMagician Live.
This champion eyebrow raiser is geeky mind reader Chris Cox.
My magic's different from the other magicians in that it's a bit shitter.
I want you, Joe, to think of any superhero for me.
I try to do mind reading stuff, influencing that type of nonsense.
Tell me, what superhero are you thinking of? Wonder Woman.